welcome to day 6 of 31 wild Halloween review nights. I almost got it. I'm getting there. It's in my head. It's right up here. We're fine. Today, we're going to talk about the reason why we started off this little series with some classic monster films. We've seen Dracula, we've seen Frankenstein, we've seen the Wolfman, the Invisible Man, the Mummy. There's a specific reason why I started this little series off with those films, and that's because obviously they are the most well-known monsters around Halloween. They are kind of the icons of this holiday. So that's one reason why I started this series off with those movies. The other reason why is because I thought it'd be cool to talk about those films first, and then we transition into Hotel Transylvania. This is Hotel Transylvania. Released in 2012, Hotel Transylvania is a CGI animated film that stars Adam Sandler as the voice of Count Dracula. He's built a luxurious resort exclusively for monsters called Hotel Transylvania, located in an old-timey castle somewhere in Transylvania. It's a place where monsters can come, relax, and wind down, but also was mostly built as a home for Drac's daughter Mavis. As she's about to turn 118 years old, preparations for her birthday party go underway. But when a human named Jonathan accidentally stumbles upon the hotel, Drac has to do everything to make sure that nobody discovers that a human is among them in the hotel. Specifically, he has to keep Jonathan and Mavis away, as Mavis is currently interested on setting out into the real world and interacting with other humans. The first thing I'm going to comment on this movie about is Adam Sandler. Now, I know Adam Sandler kind of has a certain reputation when it comes to movies, but honestly this one isn't horrible, and I think it's because it's not by Adam Sandler, it's just Adam Sandler playing a role. He plays Dracula, he does the whole Dracula voice, and while I'm not going to say it's an amazing Dracula impression, I will say it's not horrible either. In fact, there were multiple times within this movie where I had to constantly remind myself that, oh yeah, that's Adam Sandler that we're listening to. I didn't see this movie when it came out. A few years later, I ended up seeing like a small tidbit of the film. It really wasn't until I caught it on Freeform when they started doing their Halloween marathon. It was 2017 specifically where I saw the movie in its entirety. And I was really impressed. I was entertained. And there were some bits that I found very funny. Like there was a bit where there's a sponge and he's like cleaning up pee and the sponge is just rolling around in this urine and he's just having the time of his life, and I found that pretty amusing. There's also this funny bit, Jonathan, he had just been disguised as a monster and he's looking around. This is when he realizes he's around a bunch of monsters. There's a skeleton and he kind of sticks his hand through the skeleton. He's like, oh, how you pulling off this costume? This is amazing. and then the skeleton's husband looks over. He's like, what do you think you're doing? And I cracked up on that quite a bit. They ended up bringing those skeleton characters back later on at some point in the film in a shower scene, which was also pretty funny. One thing I really liked was the pacing. That's one thing I think about this whole film that I really liked, because it is a cheesy children's film. It's Adam Sandler doing a vampire voice. You got Selena Gomez, who was in her Disney Channel Prime at that time. So you do have all this goofiness. There are jokes. There are, you know, things that they've promoted multiple times in the trailers to suck your kids into watching it, and maybe even yourself. But there are a lot of impressive, serious moments. And like one of the things that I really like is the explanation of Drac's wife, why she's no longer around. And it kind of ties into the whole story arc that Drac is going through in this story with the reason why he doesn't like humans. You know, Drac's wife, Martha, unfortunately, was killed by humans, and they do a really good job with like explaining that. It's very serious. Obviously they have to do a serious tone for that. They wouldn't go goofy, but I like how believable it could be. Like, it wasn't just like, oh, she stepped outside, she burned in the sun, I like how there was an angry mob and they were the ones to take care of it, and that really affects Drac. And this is one of those films, I'm assuming you've never seen this film. This film does have the cliche of the dad doesn't want to let go. And we've seen that multiple times. We've seen a story, regardless if it was an episode or a film, of, oh, this guy is the alpha male of the whole group, and then some new guy comes in, everyone's paying attention to him. I guess to reference it to a Christmas film is Deck the Halls. In that film you had one dad who was like, oh, I'm the king of Christmas here, and Danny DeVito comes in, he just wants to be liked, and everybody starts liking him. That kind of happens in this film with Jonathan, who is honestly just kind of going along with everything. He's the only human there, and he's like, oh, these people might hurt me, I'll just play along, because he obviously doesn't want to die. He makes that very clear multiple times. But I like how the serious tone with what happened to Drac's wife has affected Dracula so much that it explains why he is the way that he is in this film. He doesn't want to lose anybody else. That's the main thing that you understand with Dracula in this story. He doesn't want to lose Mavis. Mavis is the only family he has left. I mean, thinking about it now, I just kind of feel bad, because I've done this before with a bunch of media. I'll look at it and think, I don't know if that's going to work out, and I actually watch it, and I'm like, okay, this was pretty cool. I did that with a Cartoon Network miniseries, Over the Garden Wall, once, and I completely regretted it. I was like, I judged this too soon. This is an amazing piece of media. And Hotel Transylvania holds up really well. If you haven't seen it yourself, it's not just a kid's film. It can be an everybody film. But it's a great film. If you haven't seen it yet, you really should, especially for Halloween. It is a good Halloween film. They don't reference Halloween, but it does deal with the Halloween monsters, and it's just a really cool way to bring them into the 21st century. And what's great about it is they're not over obsessed with technology. Like, I think touch phones was only brought up like once. So yeah, if you haven't seen Hotel Transylvania yet, you should really check it out. It's a really good film, and you would probably enjoy it if you enjoy that kind of stuff. Before I wrap this up, there is one little bit that I didn't really like in this film, and that's the ending. Not necessarily the ending of the story, I mean just the actual ending of the film. And if you've seen the movie, you probably know what I'm talking about. Let me ask a question. Why do animated films need to have a dance party at the end? Why? There's a big, song number at the end. All the characters in the film, they get up, they start dancing, they're having fun. Dracula starts rapping. It's a catchy song, I'll admit. I've had it stuck in my head a few times, specifically the chorus and Adam Sandler's auto-tune bit. But why was it necessary? What is it with musical numbers or dance party scenes at the end of animated films that make people just say, yes, this is what we needed? I don't think we needed it at all. You go years with classic animated Disney films that tell great stories. They're hits. They don't have musical numbers or dance parties at the end, but yet the CGI films tend to always do that. And I've seen it before. I've seen Shrek, and I like Shrek. The songs there, that's different. Shrek is completely different. I like Shrek. I don't know. I didn't get that. So if you haven't seen Hotel Transylvania and you'd like to, at the ending there is a big dance party scene, singing. You could do what I do when I see it on TV now and just kind of turn it off, because the story ends with a kiss. That is a major spoiler. They kiss at the end. I won't say who. I won't spoil that bit, but there's a kiss at the end and then they go into a song. We could do without the song. With that, that's it for Hotel Transylvania. If you've seen the film, great. If you haven't seen it, I would recommend checking it out, especially this Halloween. Make it your first year if you haven't seen it to check it out, and maybe it'll be a tradition to see it, like it has kind of become with me. I make it a point to watch this film at least once every Halloween now, so I would definitely check it out. Now, I would say that is the end of Hotel Transylvania talk, but it's not. Because if you are aware of Hotel Transylvania, I keep talking like as if nobody's ever heard of this movie before. Clearly everybody's probably heard of it. It came out like almost 10 years ago. So you probably know where I'm going with this at this point. But if you're not aware, Hotel Transylvania was so popular that it was given a sequel. And we're going to talk about the sequel. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. So come back tomorrow and I'll tell you about the sequel. Because I did see the sequel. I saw Hotel Transylvania 2. Have I made that clear yet? I have seen the sequel. Come back tomorrow and we will talk about the next adventures of Drac, Mavis, Jonathan, all the other monsters, that one weird creature that tends to say I didn't do that a lot, and a baby. Because that's what sequels need to include now. When you do a sequel off of a film, you gotta include a baby. That doesn't always happen, but I mean, like, it's kind of expected. Anyway, that's it for today's episode. Thanks for watching The Wild View. I'm The Wild Viewer, and you just saw me review a thing.